Hello and welcome to this Boxing Day news at 7 tonight. Tributes are paid to former Scotland and Nottingham Forest footballer John Robertson, who's died at the age of 72. And in international news, the US launches strikes against the Islamic State group in Nigeria. Hello there, I'm Hala Mohieddin. Welcome to the news at 7. Good evening. Tributes have been paid to the former Scotland, Nottingham Forest and Derby County winger John Robertson, who's died at the age of 72. He earned 28 caps for his country and was described as a Picasso of our game by the late Nottingham Forest manager Brian Clough. Paul Barnes looks back on his life.
A goal for Scotland!
Growing up in Lanarkshire in the 1950s with a ball at his feet, John Robertson must have dreamt of scoring the winner for Scotland at Wembley. And in 1981, that dream became a reality.
And Robertson takes it and curls it and hits a beauty.
He also played at 2 World Cups, scoring in Spain in a 5-2 win against New Zealand in 1982. Robertson won 28 caps for his country, but he was perhaps better known for his accomplishments at Nottingham Forest. He was a star in the East Midlands, a pivotal figure in Forest's back-to-back victories in the European Cup, providing the assist for the winning goal in 1979, then grabbing the winner himself 12 months later.
It's there. Forest have scored. Robertson has done it.
Under the legendary manager Brian Clough, that Forest side are still regarded as one of Britain's best ever, and Robertson made them tick.
Fantastic goal by John Robertson.
It was in Nottingham that Robertson met Martin O'Neill, and the pair formed a formidable coaching partnership at Wycombe, Norwich and Leicester. Their success caught the attention of Celtic, and Robertson moved back home, helping the Glasgow Giants to 7 trophies and a place in the UEFA Cup final. Somewhat affectionately described by Clough as a little fat guy who would turn into Picasso with a ball and a yard of grass, Robertson was a throwback to a bygone sporting age. A heavy smoker who didn't always look the part. Short in height, but a giant on the pitch, he will be remembered as one of the best footballers that Scotland has ever produced.
That's John Robertson, who's died at the age of 72. Well, our reporter Graham Fraser spoke to Martin O'Neill earlier about John's achievements and his favourite being a penalty he scored to beat England in 1981.
If you consider that this man had won 2 European Cups with Nottingham Forest and played big parts in both of them, made the goal for Trevor Francis in 1979, scored the winning goal against Hamburg the following year, and yet it shows you the esteem in which he held the Scottish cap, in the fact that he thought that it was a big highlight, but he thought it was a major highlight in his life, the scoring of the penalty against England. So it shows you. I actually played against John when he made his debut for Scotland just before they had it out in the World Cup in 1978 out to Argentina. And he made his debut that day against us. And it wasn't his best game ever. He felt it's because I knew his game inside out, and I was directing the fullback most of the time to try and cut John's angles out of the game. But overall, he was just a wonderful footballer, absolutely wonderful player.
Absolutely, and then when he finished his playing career, he joined you in coaching in several clubs, and of course you both ended up together at Celtic with many great successes there. So can you share some of those memories for us of your time together at Celtic?
I'm just back down from a little spell at Celtic there, where I worked with 3 great coaches at this moment, and talking about boys that I actually managed, and I'm talking about little Mark Fotheringham, Sean Maloney and Steve McManus. And their recollection of John is incredible, really, and the esteem in which they held him, and they weren't just saying it for effect. Is the fact is that they respected him so much, really, and it's little things like that there that sometimes in the heat of moments I kind of forget myself. But it was lovely to hear, the fact that he had time for them, that they could go and speak to him about things. And John never reported all of this back to me again. Very seldom would he have done that. But it was great to hear that those three players learned a great deal from him, and obviously have taken some of those aspects into their coaching.
That was Martin O'Neill speaking with our reporter Graham Fraser. Now, more people than ever are giving up exotic animals as pets due to the soaring cost of energy bills, according to one charity. Electricity prices in the UK remain some of the highest in Europe, and with many of these animals requiring specialised heating and lighting, some owners are finding the hike in costs too much to bear. Ailey Davis has been along to Scottish Exotic Animal Rescue in Nairn, one of the largest rescues of its kind in the country.
This place cares for up to 100 animals at a time. Among them are reptiles such as snakes, lizards, tortoises and insects, and the numbers are on the rise.
It can be quite upsetting sometimes, especially with people who do not want to give up their animals but are forced to for various reasons.
More and more animals are being given up due to increasing energy costs.
Your average kind of front room temperature is not going to be warm enough for a lot of these animals, so they require special heat lamps and lights, specialist lighting for their health, and that has a knock-on effect on cost, especially with the increasing cost of energy. That has led to a lot of people finding that animals previously could well look after are too expensive for them to care for, especially if they have multiple animals. This is Alana the iguana. She's a green iguana from Central America and South America.
Owning and caring for one of these animals can be a rewarding experience, but anyone considering getting one should think carefully before taking one of these animals on.
So do as much research as possible as you can on the animal that you are planning to get. If there's any doubts that you can look after that animal for its entire lifespan, then we would recommend thinking of another alternative pet instead. If you are committed and are willing to take on a reptile, then we would highly suggest getting in touch with a rescue, and that will help us to rescue more animals, because the more animals that we rehome from our rescue centre, the more animals we can help.
With no end in sight to the high cost of energy, it seems the issue of rehoming animals, just like this one, remains a challenge. Ailey Davis, reporting Scotland, Nairn.
Let's take you through some of the day's other stories now. And a 38-year-old man has died after being found injured in a street in Glasgow on Christmas Day. Emergency services were alerted to an incident just before midnight. The man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Detectives cordoned off the area around Napier's Hall Street to carry out investigations. A 40-year-old man has been arrested in connection with a reported rape in Glasgow's Queen's Park. Police say it happened in the early hours of Christmas Eve. The man's been released pending further inquiries. Police Scotland added that patrols would continue over the coming days. And shoppers have been hunting for bargains in the Boxing Day sales. Analysts estimate that shoppers could spend more than £3.5 billion, both in stores and online, in the coming days across the UK. Clothes, shoes and accessories are at the top of bargain hunters' wish lists. Let's take a look at some international news now. And the US has launched strikes against militants linked to the Islamic State group in Nigeria. The attacks were reportedly carried out in coordination with the government in Abuja, who've been battling a long-running jihadist insurgency. The White House said it was in response to the targeted killing of Christians in the region, something disputed by the Nigerian government. Our World News correspondent Joe Inwood has the latest.
On Christmas Day in northwest Nigeria, the aftermath of the strikes the US said were to protect local Christians. Reports are still coming in, but the White House has claimed there were multiple fatalities of what they called terrorist scum. The Pentagon released footage from a military vessel of the missiles being launched. In a post on social media, the president suggested the timing of the strikes was no coincidence. Our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper, he said. May God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. The Nigerian government has long been fighting various jihadist groups in the north of the country, including Boko Haram and Islamic State splinter cells. There have been growing calls in US right-wing circles for intervention, in what some have called a genocide against Christians. But the Nigerian government has been keen to point out that the victims of attacks have been from all backgrounds.
It has nothing to do with a particular religion. It is, as far as we're concerned, targeting terrorists that have been attacking Nigerians, period. So it has nothing to do with one religion or another.
On Christmas Eve, a suspected suicide bomber attacked a mosque in Nigeria's northeastern Borno state, killing at least 5 people and wounding dozens. No one here could doubt that there is a real problem with violence in the north of Nigeria. It is the suggestion that Christians are being particularly targeted that is questioned.
For Nigerians, this is a real security situation that is killing Nigerian Muslims and Christians and everyone. And any effort that can help towards saving lives in Nigeria will be welcomed by Nigerians. Unfortunately, President Trump's narrative is divisive and is creating further tensions on the ground in Nigeria.
Donald Trump came to power promising a less interventionist foreign policy, but has been increasingly keen to use American firepower to achieve his political and ideological goals.
Joe Inwood reporting there. At least 3 people have died in Southern California following a powerful storm which left 100,000 people without power. Heavy rain has triggered floods and mudslides across the region. Our correspondent Joe Donison has more.
Much of Southern California is already underwater, and months' worth of rain are expected to fall in the coming days. Rivers have been turned into raging torrents. And for local residents, it's been a grim Christmas, with helicopters having to be used to winch some to safety.
But we saw there were a bunch of emergency lights down at the end of the road, and we walked as far as we could without getting swept up in the water, and saw that there were people, that my neighbors that were on top of their roof, 3 people on top of the roof, just sitting there and waiting. So we haven't had any storms like this one, where, I've seen houses being damaged, where we've had damage on our property. This is definitely the worst of it, including being stuck at a house and having completely impassable roads. We weren't expecting to spend Christmas stuck at the house with limited utilities. But the flip side of that is I can be thankful to spend time with my family.
Those travelling by road to be with family found themselves stuck.
Thought we were able to get through it. We did. I just shut off. Battery turned on, started smoking and stuff, turned off.
Last summer, Southern California was battered by fires. This winter, it's floods. Scientists say extreme weather is being driven by climate change. And for this particular storm, the heaviest rains could be still to come.
It's time for the weather forecast now. Here's Christopher.
Good evening. Some lovely spells of sunshine across many parts of the country today, particularly in the west. Cloudier skies through central and eastern Scotland. We hold on to those tonight. And thicker cloud in the far northwest, perhaps producing a spot or 2 of drizzle across the Western Isles and Orkney. Elsewhere, where it's clear, it's cold, a widespread frost, and in the countryside as low as -4 with some mist and fog. Now, to tomorrow will be a cloudier picture for many compared with today, certainly through central, southern and eastern Scotland. Once again, bright in the west. And by mid-afternoon, temperatures up to around 6 to 8 Celsius. With the thickest cloud, the chance for spots of light rain or drizzle, Edinburgh, the Lothians and the Borders. North of the central lowlands, brightening up through the afternoon. Should be some sunshine for you. But like today, we could well see some areas of mist and low cloud lingering, perhaps in and around the Moray Firth, and a northerly wind beginning to pick up. Tomorrow evening, that cloud sheet continues to drift southwards, leaving us with clear skies and once again a cold night overnight to Sunday with some mist and fog forming. So during the day on Sunday, it is once again dry, light winds. That mist and fog could linger for many through the day, and there will be some large areas of cloud around. Temperatures a bit down, so it will be rather chilly, 5 or 6 Celsius probably at best. Now, the dry weather we've had through the festive period is all thanks to high pressure, and that is sticking with us next week, at least for Monday and Tuesday, with signs of a bit of a change on the way, probably a Wednesday onwards. But until that point, remaining dry for most. That's the forecast for now.
And that's it from me and the team. We're back again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Stay with us on the channel. Lots of still game up ahead. Have a good night. Bye-bye.